Books, a podcast of five authors across the genre talking about that one thing that we're all bound by, books.
And I'm one of your hosts, Marianne Morea. I write paranormal fantasy, urban fantasies, and I straddle genres along with other things. Paranormal women's fiction and young adult, older teen.
And I am Danielle Bannister. I write romance, paranormal, fantasy, YA, short stories. I'm all over the place and really need to just pick a lane and stick to it, but I want to write all the things.
Me too. Today, we want to, okay.
What are we doing today?
Today, see, I told you, I need my freaking reading glasses. This is what the problem is.
See? This is what it's like to get older, people. You got to change out your glasses. This is reality right here for you.
It's an occupational hazard. What can I tell you? So today we wanted to talk about Kindle Vella. And if you don't know what Kindle Vella is, it is a new subscription service for books that is sponsored by Amazon. Why should readers look into it and the stories we have on the platform? Well, we're going to tell you.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about this one because I think that there's a lot of reader confusion about what Kindle Vella is. Is it an app? Is it something that I need to buy special, like a Kindle device? I mean, how I don't understand how is it different than picking up your Kindle and reading? So how are you describing what Kindle Vella is to your readers?
Well, when they ask, I tell them it's a subscription service, like I just said, but that they can read it right on their phone, that they don't need a specific device. They can read it right on their phone, and that the it's since it's subscription, it's also episodes, like soap operas, almost like it's like 3 or 4 scenes, and then you have to wait till the next one comes out.
Like serialized.
That's the word I'm looking for. And for authors like you and me who are used to writing really long books or really long novellas, writing just one chapter or a couple of scenes is a little bit hard because you want to keep going, but you always have to leave this little bit of a hook because it's serialized.
Right.
So
you have to come back for the next episode.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
And just to point out, because this was something that I tested out, you can read from your computer as well. It does not have to be something that you read on your phone. You can read it on your laptop as well. Because I know some things don't cross over well, and you can only read things on phones or whatever, but you can read it from your laptop.
Right, but you don't have to buy a special device like a Kindle.
Correct. Whatever. And you don't have to download a certain app or anything like that. You just follow the link to the story that the author will provide, and boom, there you go. And see what I've been, and maybe this is not the right way to describe what Kindle Vella is, but when I'm describing it to readers, I'm describing it kind of like a drug deal. You get your first first few hits for free, and then if you want more of the story, you gotta pay for it. So Kindle Vella has this sort of a token system, right? So you automatically get 200 free tokens when you log on to Vella, which you can use on any stories that you want. But they also give you 3 episodes of any story for free. So you can sort of try out a story to see if it feels like something you like or if it isn't. But then after the 3rd episode, you got to start using some of those tokens that they gave you, right?
Right.
And so once you've used your 200 tokens, you have to buy more. And so the second question is, well, how much do tokens cost? Is it going to cost me, $20 to buy 200 tokens? No, it's $1.99 for 200 tokens.
Right.
And 200 tokens equals about 20,000 words of a story.
Right.
So, and the more tokens you buy, the more word count you can get. So it can end up being cheaper than if you were to purchase the same sort of thing in, say, a Kindle format as a full novel, depending on how long the story is and how many tokens you buy.
And for those of you who are readers who might not know what 20,000 words looks like, 20,000 words is a short novella. And the average chapter is anywhere between 2,500 and 3,500 words. So you're maybe if you're lucky, 10 chapters, maybe a little more, so for $1.99, that's not so bad. So yeah.
This idea of sort of episodic content is not a new concept. I mean, TV has done this for ages. And I mean, think about how many times we would sit in front of the TV on Thursday nights to, tune in to say Friends or something. It was must watch TV, and you cleared your agenda to watch the thing. It was the
Right.
thing that we had. And it's only recently with the advent of streaming platforms that we have really dived into this binge, I want it now sort of Veruca Salt sort of thing. Give it to me now. And I think that like platforms like Disney Plus are really trying to see if they can tap back into that weekly episodic formula with, the Marvel release of things like WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki. Those are becoming days again that people are kind of clearing their calendars for. And in other countries, this sort of episodic content for reading material is nothing new at all. This is wildly popular in other countries. But I'm curious, what do you see, both because I know that you're an author and I know that you read things as well. What do you see as the benefit of this type of format for readers or for yourself?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's certainly going to be, it'll be fresh every time it comes, every time a new a new episode is published, it's definitely fresh and it hasn't been sitting on the virtual shelves forever. And more importantly is that there is a direct place for readers to interact with the author, to tell them what they want to happen going forward. Yeah. So it becomes almost an interactive thing.
Certainly could, yeah.
And I think it's interesting. It
creates that sort of water cooler environment,
yes,
or
yes.
It could rather, if people talk about it.
One of the biggest things I think, though, is that people don't know about it, and it hasn't become mainstream, at least in not in Amazon land.
Right.
But Radish has been around for a while. Sure. Wattpad has been around for a while.
Chapters, Kiss, those are all similar types of platforms.
So it's not unfamiliar, but it hasn't gone mainstream yet. So we'll see. It's we're in beta, basically, trying to figure out how this is going to work. I know I have
authors and readers alike. I was just thinking, like, from a reader standpoint, what I found, because I've read a few episodes now on it, just because I'm curious on sort of how the platform works myself, just from an author's perspective, how it works. And what I'm finding is I'm really sort of enjoying these sort of bite-sized morsels of stories, because I find that, and maybe it's a result of Binge Watch Nation, I find that my attention span is much shorter than it used to be. And a shorter story, because these episodes can only be, 5,000 words? I think is the limit.
Yep, maximum.
Between 600 and 5,000 words. So you're only getting nugget sizes. So it's like, oh, I have, 15 minutes. I could easily whip out this episode, versus I know that if I sit down, I'm going to lose an entire afternoon to this, thing. So if I take my phone along and I'm sitting and I'm waiting at, the car mechanic I can easily read a few episodes of something. So I enjoy it for that. And I do like the sensation of a delayed gratification, because I do think we're a little spoiled on getting everything all at once.
Yep.
I like that it gives you time to think and mull and wonder what it is that the author is going to do and how you might do it differently, or, oh, I totally didn't expect that, or...
I think I would love to have readers interact with me and help me write the next episodes, because I've only got 4 up so far. And like you said, the first 3 are free. Episodes drop in different ways. The platform allows authors to release them in different ways. You can do it daily, weekly, monthly, that sort of thing. I know that you decided you were going to release on Sundays.
I did, yeah. I picked Sundays, which is probably the worst possible day to release. But for me personally, Sundays is the day that I can have time to actually sit down and read something. It's when I'm like, okay, this is sort of like some time to relax. Sunday afternoon, that's when I'm most likely to pick up a book, sit on my couch, and read something. So I did it on a Sunday. But we can change that. I mean, it's not, from an author's perspective, it's not locked in stone. So if we decide that we've set a release schedule for every Sunday, but our readers are saying, we want you to release this daily, we can change that. We can do that. but you can't release it all at once. That's sort of the thing with Kindle Vella, is they won't allow you to release it all at once. If you do that, you're releasing a book. You're not releasing episodic, which is sort of what they want you to do.
I know, I
So I
know.
mean, and that's another way that readers could interact with their, the stories and say, hey, I wish you would drop this daily. I mean, that lets us know that there is a hunger for it and to do that sort of thing. So as a reader, comment on those stories and, like and follow them. Those types of things really encourage the author to go, you know what, people are listening and they're, paying attention and they want more of this. If they're not seeing that, then maybe they don't write the next episode. And then you never know what happens.
I know. It's like when they cancel a show.
Exactly. And the reason they canceled the show is because not enough people were watching. They were waiting for it all to come out and binge it.
I know, which is very sad.
That's the danger of binge watching.
Very sad. I've had a couple of my favorites this year. Brand new series. I don't know if you've watched Rebel.
Was it canceled?
ABC.
I don't want to watch it now.
It was canceled after its first season, and I was like, it was so good. So,
yeah.
But at least they wrapped it up. I only have, like I said, I only have my 4, and I was aiming for Sunday as well. But now it's convention season, and there's a lot of other things going on in my life, so it's going to wait. But I have
a schedule, a set schedule, a certain day, or you're just releasing whenever you've got some new content.
No, I think I'm going to release once a week. I think that's my, once this convention season is over and I don't have to worry about making swag and ordering swag and ordering books and getting myself there and smiling,
Yeah.
So, but I every week I plan to do this. So, and it's another YA story, because I only have the one series. I have the Legend series, and this is another YA one. So I'm kind of hoping, that it'll be fun. I think it's a fun story. So, but
I've read a few different episodes so far on the platform, including yours, and we'll get to yours in a minute. But it does feel like there are stories all over the map. So, it doesn't matter what your genre is. It really is all over the place. And they do put the little tags to sort of let you know sort of what the trope is and what kind of things you might expect in the story. So you really do get a sense of what the story is before you even decide to click on, an episode to read. And one of the episodes that I've read so far has been your story. So why don't you tell us, without spoiling the plot, obviously, what your story is about. And if you're down for it, no pressure, but if you're down for it, giving us a little sample of it, maybe?
Sure, why not? You never have to ask an author twice, right? So my Vella story is called Leap of Fae, and it's a play on the word leap of faith. Right. So the thing is that the story is about it takes place in fairy. At least the first one does, and obviously by the title it's all about fae. And it's about my main character. Her name is Eden, and she is the heir apparent to the summer court, to the Seelie throne. Now, for those of you who don't know much about the fae, the Seelie are supposed to be the goodies. They're the ones who are more benevolent. At least that's what they say. In reality, all fae are selfish. All fae have an agenda, and all fae just want what they want when they want it.
Races, really. Let's be honest.
Anyway, so she is never really allowed to do much of anything, whereas her sister, who is like the spare, heir and a spare, because the Seelie court, the Seelie throne, the summer court is matriarchal. There's a queen. There's a king consort, but the queen, and her name is Tiana. She's like the bee's knees. She's got all the power. Whatever. Their equal and opposite counterpoint is the winter court. All right, the unseelie throne, and they are supposed to be the ones that are a little more nefarious and so forth, but they're all the same. Anyway, so she wants to sneak out to go to this ball that is being held at the unseelie court, at the winter court. So she has to figure out how to do this, because she's in her early 20s, and she's never had a chance to have any kind of fun. So, and she's got
a normal teenager set in a
well, she's not
fantasy
quite a
sort of
teenager. She's this is like
young
I guess
adult.
young adult, but she's 21, but she's never had a chance to do anything, so she might as well only be 18,
right. She
whatever.
has maybe the mentality of a teenager.
Right. So, but she's still pretty smart. But she's got an ally, and it happens to be Merlin, the wizard, Merlin, the sorcerer. So, this is just a little excerpt right here from Leap of Fae. It's episode 1. You sound like Arthur. He didn't want his destiny either. It took some persuasion. An unladylike snort left my mouth. Your focus is too much on one path, Eden. Your destiny is a journey, not a destination. There are many paths, some parallel at times, some in opposing directions. Whichever you choose, they all circle back to what will be. I exhaled. Me on my mother's throne. That's if I'm not assassinated first. You Fae are so fickle. You love war, even if it makes you your own worst enemy. Food still untouched, Merlin paused, nursing his ale. What if I told you there was a divergent path, one that didn't circle back to the throne, one that gave you a choice? My gaze riveted on the old sorcerer. A choice? The signs are hazy yet, but yes, he nodded. Nothing more than a ripple in what I see when I journey with the sight, a ripple that leaves me unsettled. Unsettled? Why? His eyes met mine. Because this ripple will cause you pain if it comes to pass. I recoiled a bit and he raised his hand. Not physical pain, pain of choices made and of consequences that follow. You talk as though you already know, I inhaled, considering his faraway stare. Should I be worried? I have to study my tomes, my charts, and the position of the stars. He drained his ale, wiping the drips from his beard with his hand. I have to breathe in the dragon's breath and seek clarity before I can answer. And me? He smiled, getting up from his soft chair. You, my little dove, must go to this party and forget what's expected of you, if only for a short time. You need to let destiny happen. What about Sorsha? I chewed on my lip. How will I convince her? Do what the rest of the she race does when they want something. Cheat? His eyes crinkled with a laugh. I was thinking strategize. Find out what Sorsha wants most and then refuse. I was thinking strategize. Find out what Sorsha wants most, what she refuses to part with, and work from there. Well, I'm not my mother's daughter for nothing. Merlin bent over the hearth and plucked a round stone from the embers glowing with red heat. Take this, but keep it hidden. If Sorsha refuses you, show her the stone. She'll know what it is and she'll know where you got it. I held out my hand, wincing in anticipation, but the stone was cool and smooth to the touch. What magic is this? I asked, rolling the stone over my palm. Insurance and protection. I raised my eyes to his. Insurance for whom? And protection from what?
Dun, dun, dun!
I apologize all the time because I always tell people I am so much better with the written word than the spoken.
Yeah, I'm the same. Get me on a telephone call and I suddenly can't word, but get me in front of a keyboard and I'll yak your ear off.
Yeah. True, very true. Okay, so what about your story? It just went live August 1st.
Yes, it did. My first episode dropped on the 1st. I have 11 episodes uploaded so far and more coming. I'm just sort of uploading them a little at a time, trying to get up ahead of myself and then just sort of uploading. It's a steamy contemporary romance. It's called Where You Left Me. And episode 1 basically starts out with a bride being left at the altar, literally, and suddenly faced with a waiting crowd ready to see her mental breakdown, essentially. So what she does instead is improvises and asks for a volunteer from those gathered to get hitched. So that's sort of the payoff, the setup, is that we're starting at this very bleak moment, and the story will be what happens after that. And so, yeah, this I will warn listeners, if you have littles around, there might be some language in here, some gentle cursing and adult situations. So you may want to mute yourself, mute your conversation at this
Sounds
point.
even better.
It's not that bad, but I am aware of that. Having had children myself, you don't want to listen.
Well, now
to
you need
things.
to read a
Okay.
teaser. I gotta hear it.
Read a teaser. This is the first like 500 to 600 words, as I can't quite remember, from episode 1. So this is it. This is the place where you left me. Not very original, I have to say. I would have thought you would have come up with something less cliche than leaving me at the altar, but now that I've had a minute to think about it, everything about you was predictable. Ordinary. Nothing earth-shattering. Not even the sex. Yeah, that was all fake, by the way. Believe it or not, you leaving me standing here all alone is not the worst part about this messed up thing. It's what you're making me do now that's pissing me off. Because of your spineless ass, I need to go out in that waiting crowd and face my parents. Hell, I have to face your parents and all your dipshit friends you made me invite. This should not be my job. You're the one who couldn't keep your hands to yourself. Because of course you were banging one of my bridesmaids. You couldn't be more of a tool if you tried. Then again, what does that make me in this story? No, I will not be the loser in this scenario. Screw that. Screw you. You just saved me a lifetime of regret and bad dick. So you know what? Thank you. Thank you for taking years of misery off my shoulders. My fingers stopped their assault on the phone's keypad while I read over my response to Shane after his dramatic dash from the church moments earlier. Emma's bouquet still lay on the floor where she dropped it to take his hand to run down the rose-petal aisle together. To hell with them both. Never reply in anger, I could almost hear my mother whispering in my ear. I took a deep breath and rolled my shoulders back. Put the phone down without sending the message, but keeping the words for fine-tuning later. Adjusting the bottom of my dress, I winced. The tug against the sticky tape holding my girls in place reminded me not to move so much. Stupid strapless dress. After a quick check, I determined that they wouldn't be escaping their cage anytime soon. I wished for the umpteenth time that I'd gone with an A-line dress that I'd wanted instead of this strapless monster. I hated strapless anything. My boobs were too big for such a dress. But Shane's mother, Shayna, of all things, had insisted on it. She had gone on and on about how strapless dresses were her little Shane's favorite. Shayna and Shane, that really should have alerted me right there that the family was nuts. While there was a ridiculous amount of relief knowing I didn't have to marry the guy, I found myself being angry as hell about missing out on the honeymoon. That was the only thing I'd been looking forward to. Not being his wife, but finally getting to go to the Bahamas. That really should have been a red flag. But when you've lived in a hick town as I did, the choices weren't many. So you took what you could get, and Shane was one of the few bachelors in town. I figured I could learn to deal with his boring personality and his serial killer eyes if we could occasionally get out of this dump. That had been one of Shane's few perks. He had to travel a bit for his work. Even though it would be short trips, we would likely only see the hotel. It didn't matter anything to get me out of here. And now he was taking that great escape away from me? I mean, sure, I could go alone, but how depressing would that be? Going to the most romantic place on Earth solo would just be salt in an open wound. It wasn't fair. Why did my life have to get turned upside down because of that dipshit? Hell no! This was my wedding day. If he didn't want to marry me, that was his loss. One thing was true. I was going to get married and go on my honeymoon as planned. I just needed to find a groom.
I love it. And now I want the rest of it.
Well, good for you. The first episode is available on Kindle Vella right now.
Oh my God. That was really, really good, Danielle. And you know what? You did not stumble once. I sound
a little bit on a word. You go back and you listen. There was a word that was
well, people, I know you're listening, and this you can know that Marianne Morea, author, bigger than life characters, is actually can't speak.
The wording thing. Can't do the wording things. I think that's pretty common with a lot of writers, though. We have a really hard time wording in person and are much better on a keyboard.
I'm going to blame it on age. I'm going to blame it on age. and menopause.
Both things can equally be true, for sure, for sure.
Anyway,
Do you think that that's all the readers should know about Kindle Vella? I mean, I think that clears up, hopefully, some of the mystery that readers may have about Kindle Vella. It's not as scary as it seems, and
no,
you
it's
can
not.
try it
And
out for free. And
hey, you know
what do you
what?
have to lose?
I mean, sneak peeks. That's basically what this looks like. Sneak peeks. And who doesn't like to try something for free first to determine if you like it?
Absolutely.
I mean, we would all love that. I would personally, for me, I would love it if I could try shoes for a week to see if I like them and if they don't pinch before I actually plunk down my money for them, because shoes are my thing. They're my fetish. So,
exactly.
But when it comes to books like this, I think this is a good thing. And I think I hope, at least I'm hoping, that it's going to catch on and that readers will realize that it is a good thing, because it also gives us the opportunity that when we get to the point where we've had a lot of episodes published and the serial is winding down or coming to an end, they give us the opportunity then to publish it as a book. So, it's a win-win all the way around, at least I think, for readers and for authors. So,
and it's, I think, a way to sort of slow down a little bit and just really just enjoy and get that anticipation feeling back. I feel like we've been a little spoiled. I know I have. I mean, God, I'm just like with the Marvel series. They have got me addicted. I'm ready for the next hit. Give it to me. Loki's over. When's the next one coming out? When's the next thing coming? So, I mean, it is a successful concept. It's not something foreign. It's happening now in things that you're consuming now, whether you know it or not. Sunday Night Football, same idea. It's, you have to wait for it and then you build up and the anticipation for it. It's the same idea. It's not a new idea. It's just maybe new for reading in ways that we haven't yet
well,
experienced.
I encourage readers and I encourage whoever's listening to go to Kindle Vella, to look up Leap of Fae and to look up Danielle's amazing story that I'm going to look up now myself.
Where you left me.
So where you left me. And read them for yourself without the stumbles. And you can decide for yourself. And there's a little comment section in both of ours where readers can tell us what you think, and you can tell us where you think you would want it to go, where the story wants to go, what you want,
what you like. Your comment may generate the direction. You never know. So interactive is a good thing. So anyway, but I think that's about it. I think that's a wrap. Probably about our time.
And if you want to learn more about either of us or any more of our podcasts, you can check out our website at boundbybookspodcast.com. Again, that is boundbybookspodcast.com. And be sure to tune in again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Dating ourselves here, girlie, dating ourselves. Anyway, so ta-ta for now. All of the information about me and Danielle, as well as all of the other authors, will be on that website, just a click away.
That's right. We'll see you next time on Bound by Books.